What is one thing that you do for editing? This could be pre-imagine, this could be post-imagine, but still, something you do that saves you time. So something that you do for editing that saves you time.
Removing myself from the process. That was the most important. Again, going back to us as creatives, being a creative director, we look at our work and we are the most critical of it, right? Mm-hmm. So we're going to look at our work and we're going to, hyper analyze every little detail. And in doing that, we're taking a lot of time. So let me give you a good example, right? Mm-hmm. I try not to cull my own work if I don't have to. I try to allow some of the people we're outsourcing to, some of our team members, to be able to cull my work, because otherwise it takes me a really long time to do it. My wife, for instance, she shoots boudoir, and whenever I'm culling her job, or whenever our team is culling her job, we've made it so that she's not in the room, because otherwise she'll sit there and she'll hyperanalyze everything, and it becomes a part where it takes us too much time to coming back and forth selecting this image or that image, right? So by removing us from that process of doing our own work, it actually allows us to get to that end product a lot sooner, and also be more consistent in what we're providing to our clients as well. And I think that that's really important. So, bringing that back to Imagine, like I said, we had already outsourced our work for many, many years. Imagine just kind of took out some of the time in the process and a lot of the cost in doing that for us, and made things a little bit easier.
Yeah, there's two things I want to address that of what you just brought up. One regarding Imagine, and you talked about being so emotionally deeply invested in the cull or the edit. Is that when you go to an AI, right? It's pure science, right? It figures you out, however you want to phrase it, but it removes the emotion from it. If you're having a bad day, the edits are going to look the way that you edit no matter what. If you're having a good day, the edits are still going to look the way that you would normally edit. There's no emotion. It's pure science. The other thing is, I'm curious. I've never asked anybody this, but being the fact that you do portraits, you do boudoir in your studio, and you also do weddings, do you find when you do the cull, or when your wife does the cull, do you find that you are more sensitive to the cull and or the edit? Let's go both ways. When you do it manually on a boudoir session versus a wedding or a portrait, because the fact that I'm guessing, and I could be wrong, but I would say a good half or more percentage of the boudoir subjects are probably more sensitive about their bodies than, let's say, at a wedding or a other portrait session. So you're feeling, them. You know what I mean?
I'd have to ask her about that, but I imagine 100% that she does take a little more consideration about that. Jen's very good at knowing how to make people look great and how to make them, love themselves, right? So I imagine that might be why she takes a little bit more time. For instance, like culling a wedding manually, for me, it takes maybe an hour and a half if I'm really kind of moving along, right? I'm taking the emotion out of it. For her, culling a boudoir session, which is maybe I would probably say 5% of the images that we come back from a wedding, you might take her half an hour to do that, right?